I feel compelled because I've noticed people are getting better results when I do this. Do you use your flow journal? Flow journals are the best. Um, it's a record of your progress through your flow journey. Flow journal. Yes, the purpose of a flow journal is multifold. One is so that you have an objective measure of what you have done. I was working on this. I started working on this. I got this part of this. For things like air wraps or tosses, it could be I did 100 attempts, I got X out of 100. And I feel like that's a really great example because if you get 10 out of 100 and you go from 10 out of 100 to 20 out of 100, you still suck, but you're so much better. Everybody would love that kind of return on investment if it was money, you know? You could take the notes on your phone if you wanted to, although I know how you can be a paper and pen kind of girl. Do I recommend video versus writing? I recommend both. Video is the objective measure of what you did. Writing is a mental comprehension of it. So while you can have a visual measure of your progress with the video, which is objective, and your subjective interpretation of that may change through time, because what you consider good today may not be what you would consider good in 5 years, right? Because I'm sure if you look back at yourself 5 years ago, you would have been like, yeah, that was amazing 5 years ago. And now you'd be like, right? I mean, I know I have that experience. I don't want to project, but video is objective. But the subjective experience of what you're experiencing in the video is relevant as well. How did it feel while you were doing it? What percentage did you feel like you had it done? So there's that whole, we're trying to get to flow state where it's an unconscious competence thing. So how far along in that journey are you is something that you can be notating in your journal. But your journal can also be when questions arise. It can also be breakthroughs that you had. It can also be, my friend was talking to me about how he'd been avoiding spinning because he was not wanting to feel what was going on in his life because things were really tense. It could be revelations about that sort of thing. I mean, this practice is very complex and rich. So if you want to have a richer experience with the practice, the journal itself can help you manage that. And at a super practical level, ignoring all the woo-woo shit, which is great, your flow journal can give you this is the date and time in which I started this move. This is what the move was. This is how the move actually functions. So I know that sometimes people struggle with the language associated with the move. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Okay, I'm starting in the 9 o'clock position. My left hand is doing counterclockwise, split time. My left hand is doing in spin. It goes from the 9 o'clock across the bottom to the 3 o'clock, while the right hand does anti-spin going across the top, and then the opposite. Right? Being able to write that down and comprehend that. Studies have shown that even if you never go back and look at the notes, taking the notes helps you remember better. It is my firm belief that the action of writing down the actual technique and being able to do what I just did, where I linguistically distinguish specifically what happens to get from here to here, and then, when I get to the right side, I'm still in split time, still in counterclockwise. My left hand is going to do a 2-petal flower across the top. My right hand is going to do a 4-petal anti-spin across the bottom. Being able to distinguish that helps you have a comprehension of it in your body that you wouldn't otherwise have. I believe your mileage may vary. Taking the time to do it, I think, makes a difference. So I would invite you to get a piece of paper that you could turn into your flow journal, or even if you write it, even if you type it out. While I don't think typing is quite as effective as writing it out in some ways, because, well, it might be if you have the ability to draw pictures to go with it too. Back in the old days, what I used to do is the first day of school that people walked into the temple, I would give them a journal, a flow journal, and this was before we had cameras because people couldn't take video. And I would make people write notes. But what ended up happening was people were copying the notes. They weren't understanding the concepts. What I would do is I would say, okay, now you wrote the notes down. Now tell me what they mean. I started doing that, and I made people to actually reflect it. But I wasn't doing one-on-one classes. I was doing group classes. And you could tell the difference between who got it and who didn't, just based on the response. So things that you probably always would have are the direction of the poi, the timing of the poi, the name of the move, and the plane that it's in. Right? These are constants that you would have. They're constant variables, I guess. I mean, I guess at the top level it would be the type of move that it is. Because what we're doing is a hybrid. Hybrid is a huge class of moves. So now we would drill down into the specific things that define the hybrid. Yeah, so it would be the plane, the direction, and the timing. And uh, with a hybrid, you would also say the number of petals. My particular convention for what we just did, I would say it's a front plane 2 by 4, because the left did 2 and the right did 4, and left comes before right visually. Versus the next time when we learn the other one, we'll say front plane counterclockwise split time 4 by 2, because the left will be doing the anti-spin and the right will be doing the in-spin. It's also split time polyrhythmic. So when you think about a hybrid that's a flower, where one hand is in-spin and one hand is anti-spin, always it's a hybrid. Always it's a polyrhythmic. Because a 4-petal is created by how many rotations? Ding! Yes, the 4-petal anti-spin is created by 3 rotations. Yes. So what you're really doing is a 3 by 2, if you were to talk about the polyrhythmic timing of it. So it's a 3 by 2 split time.